Indian armed forces recorded every attack on terror bases. The Indian armed forces have amassed extensive proof of every strike against the terror targets.
Absolutely. Now the question is, will we get to see that perhaps in today's presser? Because remember the first press conference that happened, in the first press conference we were given a glimpse of the targets. For each operation there is visual evidence and is being methodically documented and disseminated. The armed forces will continue to disclose proof of all upcoming strikes as part of their commitment to transparency, and all operational and visual evidence associated with these operations has to be arranged and stored by a dedicated data gathering team. Extremely important, Hina, that we are documenting everything before anyone asks sabut kahan hai, because we know there are some in this country only who asked that in the past.
Yes, and that is why, perhaps, Swati, some time is being taken by the MEA, by the armed forces as well, because the proof is something that they also want the world to see. They want Pakistan to see the kind of damage that has been inflicted as far as Operation Sindoor is concerned. We are also joined by Lieutenant General Ashok Shivane, who is a defense expert, and Air Commodore B.S. Sivaj, retired defense expert, also live with us. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being with us here on Times Now. Lieutenant General Ashok Shivane, I want to ask you, now the information that we've got is extremely significant. What we are learning is that there is going to be visual proof of every strike against terror targets, so that tomorrow Pakistan doesn't say, where is the proof?
Absolutely. Firstly, thank you very much for getting me on the show. Let us be very clear that it is India's just war against terror, against Pakistan's unjust war protecting terror, which is accompanied by deceit and denial. We really are very clear of what we targeted, and it is not to show Pakistan. They're well aware what has been targeted. Our targets have been very precise, very selective. They have been on the terrorist establishment as such, their infrastructure, their launch pads, and their training areas. And subsequently, when it was escalated by Pakistan in their responses, we targeted those establishments from where these attacks were launched, be it the airfields, be it the military establishment. Third level, when they were carrying out unprovoked and intense firing on the border and targeting our civilians, we did not stoop so low. We targeted their military posts, their military the artillery fire posts, and the fire locations from which this is going, not the civil areas as such. So it needs to be understood that the levers of the onus of escalation, of this conflict lies with Pakistan. But certainly the response, which will be mature, precise, and substantially hard-hitting to teach them a lesson, will be by India. And when we do a strike, it must be very clear that there is something known as the post-strike damage assessment. We are a professional army. We are not an army who goes training terrorists. We are an army who trains soldiers for the future wars. That's why you've seen a multi-domain, technology-intensive war. And we do a post-strike damage assessment. And what is a post-strike damage assessment? When you hit a target, you carry out analysis of the hit, you document it, whether by photographs or other means, and then you assess whether it has been damaged, what is the recoupability, and does it require more punishment? So this is a professional army way of fighting, and these proofs are more to tell the domestic audience who have full trust in the defense forces.
Absolutely.
That this is the sort of destruction that we have carried out, and this is the sort of targeting we have carried out.
Absolutely.
It is a moral war against, a just war against terrorism, not just
Absolutely. And also
Pakistan.
the day and age that we live in. And I want to bring in Air Commodore Sivaj. Of course, we're not looking for any sort of validation from the West or anyone else. We are acting because we've been impacted. But the day and age that we live in also has something called as propaganda warfare. It's very important to document this, not just to revisit it like the speaker before you said, because post-strike assessment has to be done. But at the same time, you have to bit by bit keep on exposing Pakistan.
Definitely, this propaganda is part of any conflict because both sides carry out propaganda. And in this particular case, Pakistan is miles ahead of us because we don't want to spread fake news. We have got the media which is always checking our claims. So we don't want to, spread any fake news. But Pakistan is known to be expert on this. And of course, this is part of one of the principles of war, that psychological operations to terrorize the enemy and tell them that we are winning, and their own, public. You want to sort of raise their morale, saying that we have done this, we have done that. So not many people are in a position to check the fake news. Everybody doesn't have those kind of resources. So general public, whatever they see or they hear from others, get convinced and they feel that yes, their country is doing very well and there is no threat to them. So that's the part of it. And Pakistan can go to any lowest extent. They are known for it. They have been doing it since ages. They have been refusing all along. Even now also they refuse that they have no hand in spreading terrorism or any terrorist attacks, including the Mumbai, our Parliament House, everywhere. So they are the most trustworthy opponent, and a rogue state, rogue army, and that's the only country where the army has a country and not a country which has an army. So that is very sad. Unfortunately, we have such a neighbor who is bent upon persisting on their, stupidity. They are bankrupt. They have no resources, but still, and the army over there does not want to end this enmity or fight with India because their survival, their mere existence, depend on enmity with India, war with India, and causing harm to India. They are not going to be successful. We have very dynamic leadership. We have political will. We have very expert military, and it's a entire nation which is confronting this particular aggression by Pakistanis, starting from the Pahalgam, and then of course and we are not interested in escalating. You must have seen that our attacks are very calibrated. We just respond to what they do. We are not escalated other than, and our targets are only the terrorist, militants, launch pads, their nerve centers, cannot bother to, we are not interested, as a matter of fact, in harming any of their military installation, as well as their civilian installation. Military installation, of course, have to be, because they are the biggest supporter of terrorism. So they have to be targeted, and slowly they'll get targeted, and they'll get the right kind of response from our country.
Well, absolutely. Stay on with us.